everybody, my name is Stephanie and I'm a floater CSA with the Tuscarawas County Public Library. Welcome back to Reading Therapy with Stephanie. Today I have 5 historical fiction books for you guys. Let's get started. To start us off today, I have my most recent historical fiction read, and that is Snowflower and the Secret Fan by Lisa C. And this takes place in 19th century China, and we follow a girl named Lily as she moves throughout her life. And in this book, she is paired with another girl, and they become Lao Tongs, which means old same. So they're basically paired together to have a friendship throughout their lives. And this book explores their relationship and how they move from girls into women. And it has such incredible detail, like with the foot binding that they go through and what's expected of them as they grow older, and how their relationship changes. And it's just such a beautiful and moving story. And I didn't know much about this period of China, and reading this was really eye-opening. So if you're into historical fiction, this is a fantastic book. Next up, I have How Much of These Hills is Gold by C. Pam Zhang, and this follows a family in the twilight of the gold rush, and the 2 children have recently been orphaned. And so they have to find their way in the world, find out what they mean to each other, figure out what makes a home, what that means to them, and kind of surmount the obstacles that were placed in their way by their parents' bad choices. So this is just an eye-opening book. I don't know much about the gold rush. So reading this was really, really interesting to see some of the horrible things that went on during that period, especially for people who were immigrants at the time. But yeah, I really loved this. It was very eye-opening, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Next, I have a juvenile recommendation for you guys, and that is We Dream of Space by Erin Entrada Kelly. And this takes place when the Challenger was getting ready to launch, and there's a family with 3 kids, and their parents aren't getting along super well. So the youngest child, a girl, is fixated on learning all she can about the Challenger rather than deal with what her family's going through. And the history kind of takes a back seat in this book, and we're really exploring what it means to be a family, what that looks like when there's strife introduced into a relationship. And I really loved the bond between the siblings. I loved seeing that develop. It was handled really well. It definitely was moving at times. But yeah, it's a really good juvenile book, and I enjoyed it even as an adult, so you should definitely try this one out. Next up, I have The Mountains Sing, and I'm not going to try to pronounce her name because she's from Vietnam and her name is absolutely beautiful. I don't want to ruin it. But this book follows a young girl who lives in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. And as you can imagine, it's very, very hard to read at times. Not because it's bad, it's absolutely wonderful, but because trying to understand what the people in Vietnam were going through during that time is it's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. But this book is absolutely wonderful. I actually recommend the audiobook because there's a lot of the Vietnamese language in this book, and listening to it really helps with the experience. But it's so detailed and rich and wonderful, and the relationships in this book are spot on. And I loved this book so much. I get emotional thinking about how much I loved it. So if you haven't read this, I absolutely recommend that you do so. It's just completely wonderful. Probably the best historical fiction book I have ever read in my entire life. So go read it. To finish us off today, I have Cleopatra, Daughter of the Nile by Christina Gregory. And this is part of the Royal Diary series. So they have a whole bunch of books based on different females throughout history, and the books are written as journal entries. I've always really loved that format. So this one in particular, I really loved because I always loved all things Egypt. And learning about Cleopatra was one of my favorite things to do as a kid. So it basically follows her life as she writes about it, and they're packed full of information, even though they're for kids. I just think they're completely wonderful. So you should definitely check out this one and even the rest of the series because they're all really great. So yeah, give this one a try. Okay, that is gonna do it for our video today, you guys. I hope you saw a historical fiction book that you would like to try. As always, if you have any video ideas, just let me know and I'll do my best to recommend something that you will love. As always, may your books be many and your interruptions few. Bye guys.